Hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video, and today I want to talk about an idea that I had and that I've been thinking about for a while now, basically ever since they announced the melee rework, and it has to do with the heavy attack portion of the melee rework. I just want to know what you guys think about it, because if it's popular enough, I will probably submit it to DE, because I think it's really cool. So first things first, if you're not familiar with the melee rework or melee 3.0 or whatever you want to call it, one of the biggest changes there is that melee weapons will now use light and heavy attacks. Light attacks will build up the combo counter while not being affected by it, and heavy attacks will spend it. And I really didn't like this idea for the first couple of days after finding out about this change, but the more I think about it and the more ideas that I had, the more I actually like it, because the way I thought about it originally is that the heavy attack will basically just be a powered up version of a light attack, but that's not what they have to do necessarily. What they could do is not just make them a powered up light attack, but more of a pseudo ability that would change based on the weapon class. This is what I want to talk about. I have 5 examples of this that I think would work really well, and I want to know what you guys think about it, because you know how ideas work. Something that sounds amazing and perfectly fine in my head may literally sound like the dumbest thing to everyone else. Example number 1, hammers. Hammers hit really hard, but they're generally fairly slow and don't have that much range. This means that not a ton of people use them because they feel kind of clumsy. So what we're gonna do is turn the heavy attack into a massive slam that does a crap ton of AoE damage. Now there are kind of 2 ways we can do this, and I'm gonna switch over to Path of Exile to show you what I mean. The first idea that I had is that we could go with sort of a ground slam type ability where you would create a conal shockwave in front of you with either the width or the length or both, as well as the damage of the cone being affected by the combo counter. So if you have a 5 times combo, it's gonna do far more damage and cover a larger area than if you have a 2 times combo. The second idea is to have an earthquake style ability. Now there is a delay between the initial strike and the aftershock in Path of Exile, but that would not be there. So you'd basically just build up your combo counter, use the heavy attack, and it would slam the ground doing massive amounts of damage around you. And both the size and the damage of this earthquake type dealio would be affected by the combo counter, so the more combo you have, the larger and more damaging it's going to be. Now you might think that this is a little bit too far-fetched, but it's not really, because the conal one, the ground slam type one, is somewhat similar to Nidus's Virulence or even Banshee's Sonic Boom, and the earthquake one is basically Rhino's Stomp. So both of these are pretty much in the game already. The biggest challenge here, I think, would be to make them feel different to Virulence or Sonic Boom or even Rhino's Stomp. Example number 2, heavy blades. Those are pretty strong overall, so they don't need anything insane, so let's just give them a fun whirlwind or a cycloning ability, something similar to the Rufflecopter combo on Cleaving Whirlwind. The way I imagine this working is you build up your combo counter, then you press the heavy attack, and your character will maintain its full sprint speed so you can still move around, but you will spin around and damage everything around you. And what the combo counter would determine here is first of all the damage, probably, and second of all, the duration of the whirlwind or the cyclone or whatever you want to call it. So if you build a 5 times combo multiplier, you will spin around for 5 seconds. And the idea here is once again not too crazy, because we can already do something similar with the Cleaving Whirlwind stance, but it's also basically just a Naros' Sandstorm. You just replace the ragdolling with scaling damage. Would that be worth losing your combo counter? Absolutely, that would be fun as hell. Example number 3, Daggers. Daggers can do an infinite amount of damage through covert lethality, which makes you kill anything that you perform a finisher on. But they don't have a lot of range, they lack AoE, and a lot of them are pretty slow as well. So what do we do to help them out with the heavy attack? Well, I think a good way of helping Daggers out would be to basically just attach Ash's old Blade Storm to the heavy attack. So you'll build up the combo counter fighting the enemies normally, then you press a heavy attack and it will teleport you around and do a set amount of finishers. And the amount of finishers will be determined with the combo counter. If you build a 4 times combo, you will do 4. If you build a 5 times combo, you will do 5. This is in my opinion the best way of adding AoE to Daggers while keeping it thematic, and while it will not do as much area damage as the other weapons, you can use covert lethality and guarantee yourself a couple of kills. Example number 4, whips. This is probably the easiest one. Don't screw around with the theme, they already have a theme. So the heavy attack is going to be a massive slide attack that could even pull enemies to you, so it takes them out of their hiding spots. And the final example, example number 5 that I came up with so far, are sword and shields. Just keep it thematic once again and make it a shield throw that bounces between enemies, where the number of bounces and the damage of the shield throw is once again affected by the combo counter. So it would basically be the Avenger shield ability that Protection Paladins have in World of Warcraft. Now, I know that this wouldn't be the easiest thing to implement and it would be a lot of work, but if there is one developer that's crazy enough and has good enough people to do this, I believe it's DE, and it would be fantastic. This would make melee combat amazing for me. Something like this is, in my opinion, the only way to make people want to spend their combo counter when we have things like Blood Rush and Weeping Wounds. Right? If you have a system like this, yeah, you can build up a massive amount of crit via Blood Rush, a lot of status via Weeping Wounds, but you're missing out on this massive power spike that is the heavy attack. And it would, in my opinion, slot into the game far better than a heavy attack that just does a lot of damage. Give it AoE, make it scale with a combo counter, and make it thematic based on the weapon class. The biggest fear here is obviously balance, because if one of them ends up being far better at clearing and doing damage than the other ones, it's gonna become the next Maiming Strike. Which, by the way, is not going to die with this update. A lot of people seem to have this idea that once this update goes live, Maiming Strike is dead. That's not true, which is why I kinda skimmed over it in the original video. It's not going to die, you just won't be able to hit enemies through walls, which there are going to be some issues with that because the level geometry is not perfect, and you will have slightly less range, but it will still be incredibly powerful. But anyway, I think I've been rambling for long enough, so please let me know what you think about this idea in the comment section down below, and if enough of you like it, I will submit it to Digital Extremes, because I personally think it's really cool. So as always guys, I thank you very much for watching, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.